Hello. I have had many requests for learning how to sharpen knives. This is my knife. It is a right-handed knife, a beveled knife, and works very well. It can be very sharp if you know how to sharpen it properly. I have two knives. This one is for the smaller one for cutting straight down. The other knife is for reed making. You never cut straight down unless you're using this knife. It will dull the blade. And they are sharpened in a different fashion. I sharpen my knives with steels, and I will put on the screen where to get these steels. This left one is very, very smooth. The right one is a fairly normal kitchen steel. The left smoothest one is for doing the final finishing of the sharpening. So we can sharpen this knife first on the flat side without the bevel, and we draw it to us, but first we raise the knife about 15 degrees. See that? Tilting the knife about 15 degrees and pull it to us one long stroke, and then turning it over another 15 degrees on the beveled side, and we pull a long stroke all the way out. This is still on the rough steel, so it's not your final blade. Very evenly stroked. And then we go over with the smooth steel and do the same thing, but only on the beveled side, not on the flat side anymore. Even strokes all the way out. This will give us a small burr, which is really necessary for correct reed making. It's not just a sharp knife, it has a burr, and we can test it on our thumb. And if it grabs just a little bit, that means it has a burr. I'm very successful at sharpening knives. You noticed I used no oil, nothing like that. It was with um, only with the knife itself. Now here's a little item called a Speedy Sharp, and you can find those at speedysharp.net. And that is a titanium edge to it and will be able to hone your knife. It's a very, very hard titanium edge, and with honing, it takes away the metal that's used and doesn't sharpen well. I'll go ahead and hone this knife for you. Pulling it away from me, I can easily take off. I don't know if you can see that, but the little tiny shards of metal, she's zooming up on my thumb, it does take it off and pull on both sides, pull the metal off. And this is prohibiting you from sharpening a knife correctly if you do leave that on. It's very important that you take that off. And again, I'll show you how I sharpen them quickly. So one quick sharpen on the flat side and then on the bevel side. 5 or 6 strokes. After you've honed it, you don't have to hone it again. And there it's grabbing and uh, holding the knife against my thumb. It really has a good grip on the cane when you do it that way. Now, many of you have this type of knife, and it's sharpened in somewhat the same fashion. You do need a burr. So one quick stroke, since I'm right-handed, going towards me. Now, a slight 15-degree tilt, and I'm going to sharpen from the edge all the way to the tip, straight out. And just mainly on this side, this would be the same as the beveled side for the other knife. It depends on your handedness. If you're left-handed, it'd be opposite. And then I change over to the other steel, to the smooth steel, and give it a good 15-degree tilt. And let's see, I can pull, yes, it grabs also, because I just created a burr on this knife also. Also very important. This, again, is for a knife for making reeds, and it's a smaller knife, which is fine. Everybody has different size of hands. It's not to be used to cut straight down, however. Now, as this knife used as a utility knife that you use on a cutting block, a billet, it would be sharpened in a different fashion. I don't normally use this type of knife for reed making. So if I'm going to sharpen this for cutting straight down on a cutting block, I would just use this type of motion, an even stroke left and right. And then again on the smooth steel, left and right. getting a nice sharp edge to cut straight down. And it won't grab like a burr, but you're going to be cutting with your cutting block. You never ever use your good reed knife to cut straight down on a block. You will ruin your knife, and it's a definite no-no to do. Your knives will last longer if you treat them properly because they are your tools, and you need to have knives that work for you.